All I know is we've killed, what, 4 people? 5 people? We've never even done a deposition. Our insurance company just sucks. And Don Witherspoon says we can kill 2 people a year, we fine.
That's the exact mentality and culture that led to the death of 12-year-old scuba diver Dylan Harrison during her open water certification dive at Scuba Ranch outside Terrell, Texas. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment to speak directly to the Harrisons. As a father who's buried a daughter, and as a diver whose 13-year-old son is his dive buddy, I am so deeply sorry for what you're going through. I know that kind of unimaginable loss, and it never leaves. I wish I never had to make this video, and I promise you I will honor Dylan in every word that follows, but I will not stay silent about the people who failed her. This one hit really close to home for me. The very week this happened, I was supposed to be diving there as part of our upcoming Texas Scuba Tour 2025. When I heard what happened, I changed plans and detoured to Athens Scuba Park instead. And it gets even closer. The dive shop involved, Scuba Toys out of Dallas. I've literally been there in that store and bought gear from them. And if that wasn't close enough, my dive buddy is my 13-year-old son, Gunnar, who we certified at 12 years old. Through all of this, it has deeply impacted me and felt incredibly close. Thanks to Dive Magazine for the incredible work following this story, and here's what's been made public so far. On August 16th, 12-year-old Dylan Harrison went missing during a training dive at Scuba Ranch in Kaufman County, Texas. The class of 8 students was being led by instructor William Armstrong and one dive master from Scuba Toys. Witnesses say that Dylan and another junior diver had been paired together as a dive team. The group was supposed to descend to a shallow training platform. However, Dylan became separated from the group and was later located at 45 feet, not by her instructor, but by an instructor from a completely different dive school. What makes this even harder to process is that Armstrong, the instructor responsible for her, was already out of the water when she was recovered. Witnesses said he appeared to be completely bone dry. A separate instructor's team recovered her in just 7 minutes. Armstrong has since been permanently suspended from teaching at the Scuba Ranch, and Scuba Toys, the shop he was working through, has also been suspended from further training while the investigation plays out. The Kaufman County Sheriff's Office is facing serious questions for failing to immediately secure and download the dive computers from that day. Initial reports said that some of the data had already been corrupted, and now the dive master's computer has reportedly disappeared in a completely separate lake. The Kaufman County Sheriff's Office is also facing backlash for reportedly closing the case far too quickly before reopening it, which is why the Texas Rangers are now involved. As of this week, the Texas Rangers have taken over the investigation, and as of the posting of this video, Armstrong has resigned from the Sheriff's Office. But right now, he's still listed as an active NAUI instructor.
All I know is we've killed, what, 4 people? 5 people? We've never even done a deposition. Our insurance company just sucks. And Don Witherspoon says we can kill 2 people a year, we fine.
Hearing that again and understanding that those numbers he's talking about aren't numbers at all, they're daughters and brothers, they're people that cannot be replaced. Are you angry? Because I'm pissed. The instructor responsible for these students, the one charged with protecting them, was not just any instructor. He was a chief sheriff's deputy. You know, part of that protected class that never seems to face real consequences the way the rest of us would. And yeah, he resigned, but only after 6 weeks and only after the Texas Rangers stepped in. Early indications were that this entire thing was going to be quietly swept under the good old boy rug. And the instructor who actually coordinated the 7-minute search effort to locate Dylan said that Armstrong was bone dry and more focused on defending himself than giving any useful information to help save her. Let that sink in. Dive computers are the black box of our sport. They record everything: ascent and descent rate, air consumption, temperature, total dive time, everything. They were not properly secured when law enforcement arrived. Then word came out later that files were corrupted. And now the dive master's dive computer has gone missing in a completely different incident at another lake 90 feet deep. I'm done giving the benefit of the doubt. The only corruption I see here was coming out of the sheriff's office. NAUI is the certifying agency that this shop and instructors were trained and operating under. And that clip I played earlier, that surfaced in 2017. Someone present in that meeting brought it directly to Nowie's attention, and their official response, not actionable. This is not one bad apple. This is not a random freak tragedy. This is a culture. And when there are problematic patterns and practices that go unchecked, that's not an accident. That's negligence. I've said it before, but individual instructors matter way more than the agency. When you dive, you don't dive with an agency. You dive with a person, an instructor whose decisions you're trusting with your life or your child's life. If you're a parent looking to certify your kid, you better fully trust that instructor. Not the brand on the door and not the agency logo on their card, but the person. Because from what we've seen time and time again, agencies will just distance themselves. They will deflect, they'll file an insurance claim, and they'll call it a tragic accident and move on. But that instructor, they're the one that's underwater with you. They're the one making the decisions that keep you alive or not. Choose wisely. It's literally life and death. I've stayed extremely close to this story since the day that it happened and read every article that I could find on it. And one comment that I keep seeing over and over again is people saying, why was a 12-year-old even diving? Let me be very clear here. There is nothing inherently wrong with a 12-year-old diving. I certified gunner at 12 years old. And I promise you, he dives better than half of the adults that I see in the water. But before we ever even hit the water, I sat him down and made it really clear. This is life and death, son. You take training seriously, you never get complacent, because underwater, you don't always get a second chance. I watched every part of his training, especially whenever things weren't perfect. And I can say without hesitation that I fully trust him as a contributing part of our dive team. So no, the problem was not that Dylan was 12. The problem was that she was with people who had no damn business leading anyone underwater. And if you're diving with people like that, any age is too young. And if you're a parent watching this, here's the one thing I beg you to ask before you ever put your kid in the water with someone. What are your instructor to student ratios? We dive with Desert Reef out of Midland, Texas, and on every single training dive, Gunner has a dedicated dive master in the water with him. And let me be crystal clear, two 12-year-olds should never, ever be paired together, period. I hesitated before I made this video, not because I was unsure, but because I understood the weight of what happens when you speak openly against the system. I was worried about how the Harrisons might feel if they saw it. I was worried that it might make sponsors uncomfortable, that it might make me radioactive in the industry. But then I realized silence only protects the wrong people. And as small as it is, people watch this channel, and I know of people that have signed up for open water classes because of us. So I have a responsibility. So let me say this to the parents. Do not hand your child to an instructor you haven't personally vetted. Ask questions, ask about ratios, demand proof of safety before you ever trust them. To divers, stop staying silent. Stop protecting bad actors. Speak with your voice and with your wallet. We don't reward negligence with our business. To dive shops, if you have anyone in your employ talking like this Scuba Toys video, even as a joke, they need to be gone. There is zero room for that kind of mindset in a sport where one mistake can end a life. To the certification agencies, this clip was brought to you in 2017, and you said not actionable. If that's your threshold, then you're part of the danger. Dylan deserves justice, and the system needs to feel the pressure of being watched. I'm going to say this as clearly as I can. I will never step foot inside Scuba Toys ever again. I don't care if the owners change. I don't care if they remodel the building. I don't care if they rebrand, apologize, or try to disappear into the shadows. I'm done. And I'm morally distancing myself from them permanently. Because this wasn't an accident. This was a culture, a mindset, and a failure of human responsibility at the most unforgivable level. And you can make your own choice, but there is a line, and I know which side I'm standing on. That's all I've got, and I'm going to close this out by speaking directly to Dylan. You did everything right. You trusted the adults who were supposed to protect you, and they failed you. I'm sorry for that. I'm incredibly sorry, and I promise you, I will never let the world pretend like this didn't happen. I will never let them bury your name in silence. You deserve so much better than this.